The German invading force is speeding to capture Oslo. The blow against Norway is launched. Warships loaded with troops, which they are to land. Soldiers wearing life belts, should the vessel be sunk in battle. The naval squadron drives through the waters of the Skagerrak for the surprise attack that transformed the war in Europe. These newsreel pictures are as permitted by the German censorship and were flown across the Atlantic by clipper ship. They show history moving to a fitful climax. They know they're in danger of attack. There is an attack by a British warplane and aircraft fire. They shoot a stream of tracer shells. The squadron steams on and into the fjord of Oslo. Mere hours before, Berlin demanded of Denmark and Norway that they yield to German control. Denmark did yield, but Norway refused. Norway would resist. Oslo, on a steep and rocky fjord, was strongly situated for defense. But defense was demoralized. There are reports of treachery, secret agent plotting, fifth column, and Trojan horse tactics. There was some fighting, and Nazi ships were sunk, but not enough resistance to prevent the Germans from landing and swiftly seizing Oslo. From the harbor, a Nazi seaplane flies on some mission of war. The Norwegian capital made to serve as a German air base. The unloading of troops and supplies illustrates with what thoroughness the surprise invasion was prepared. Heavy equipment, tanks, modern weapons, mechanized war to be waged with motorized speed, a new blitzkrieg to be launched by those battalions seizing a neutral nation. Headed by a regimental band, a goose-stepping parade. Simultaneously, other Norwegian ports are seized in much the same fashion. The sudden Nazi blow captures the important Norwegian harbors and air bases, putting the Allied counterattack under a grave handicap, giving the Nazi invaders a strategic advantage in the Norwegian war. Historic events are being shaped by these scenes in Oslo. The Ile de France departs from New York Harbor on a mission of war. No official information is given of where she is going. The French luxury liner is painted a wartime gray, and she carries a wartime cargo, metals of military use, and aircraft. She has aboard a great quantity of airplanes and parts, these consigned to the Allies in Europe. The Ile de France has been docked at New York since the beginning of the war. Now loaded with planes, she follows the example of the British liners Mauretania and Queen Mary. Only the French boat is bound apparently for Europe. They take their places in the circling chairs for a glimpse into the future. At the New York World's Fair, what things will look like 20 years hence. Highways and horizons of 1960. We move around a vista of roads, a bridge between mountains where the highway is truly high. Traffic lanes regulated at varying rates of speed, and the way they emerge from a tunnel. Across the bridge, the stream of automobiles in reproduced clever miniature, and the highway takes us into the city of the future. This is the vision that architects and engineers have summoned of the metropolis soon to come. The best riders of the West are in this rodeo. For example, here's Tom Mix of the movies, still quite a rider. Does that cowboy stay on for the required period? You bet he does. This chap has a rough ride, but a successful one. Though when you get off a wild Mustang, it's likely to mean a spill. There's a large percentage of successful rides here at Newhall, California, a tribute to the list of bronco busters in the bucking show. Some are tossed, of course, and that bronc is ornery, and so is that steer. Not content with tossing the cowboy, the critter wants to gore him too. Gore him too.
The two glamour debs of this year and last welcome the guests. There's Mrs. George Washington Cavanaugh, escorted by Prince Falco and Prince Filiberto de Bourbon. And we see Countess de Santa Cruz and Maurice de Cobra. Glamour debs Josephine Johnson and Patricia Plunkett say hello to another deb, Nancy Martin. What's the social occasion for this swanky gathering? Oh, there are Rita Meyer and Thomas Murray, Jr. What's the gala event at the 9 o'clock club in New York? They're acclaiming the debutantes selected for glamour this year. At a table is Barbara Smith and Donald Livingston. All the younger set is here. Paul Livermore and Rosemary Bradley. The glamour deb is a recent and interesting innovation in the nightclub set. Susan Stevenson and Peter Bogle come to see the glamorizing ceremony. Also Leah Dobson-Eddy and Xavier Benziger. Elizabeth Provost and Richard Proctor. Society is agog. The social register is aflutter as Patricia Plunkett, who was acclaimed last season, presents to Josephine Johnson the bouquet that makes her the glamour deb of 1940.
Am I happy all the news ain't cereals? Here's a graduation day. The Methodist Hospital of Brooklyn is picking the healthiest and huskiest 6 months old out of their latest crop of babies. Guess which one each mama thinks is the best? Certainly. But the doctor and nurse is more scientific. It's all in the diet. You and me couldn't look that way on pig's knuckles with cabbage and chocolate moldeds. There's a bathing beauty. Ain't she cute? While the doctor is tuning in, how about a little smile? Okay, that's enough for 'em. It's a shame they grow up into us. Sure, some of them cry. Now, stop it. You grow up with a squunched face. And here's the winner, baby Rose Bloisy. A Rose by any other name, Rose, don't eat the prize. Cute, the new belle of Brooklyn. Hello, Mom. Hello, Pop. Me and the Dodgers, hey, Pop?
The camera highlights in the world of sports. Maryland's famed Hunt Cup. It's America's #1 steeplechase, and especially unique today as 20th Century Fox's cameras record the grueling 4-mile classic for the coming Technicolor production Maryland. On location, therefore, we find the noted director, Henry King, shown at the moment telling Mrs. Thorgerson's boy what the big picture's all about. In the starting field of 10 finely trained thoroughbreds may be seen such ranking timber toppers as Cornwall, Myrmidon, Cherry Brook, Montear, and the valiant 11-year-old favorite Blockade. Two-time winner of this killing grind, Blockade needs only to win today to retire the most famous chasing trophy of them all. Naturally, therefore, there are few in the crowd of 20,000 spectators whose straining eyes and fondest hopes are not riding on the old campaigner Blockade,